Greetings, humanity. And I figure we're going to keep looking at this game and see what happens. More instruments in this theme music than I thought there was. I thought there were. Very strange. Oh well. As you may recall, this is a game about piecing together a story from decades ago, as we try to figure out what happened. They don't actually give you any guidance at the beginning. They just, as far as what's going on, they give you a little bit as to how the how reviewing the footage works, but you have to kind of piece things together on your own. But let's go ahead and get into it, and we will see what happens. I have hopefully fixed the audio now so that you folks can hear it a little bit better. I went back and I looked at the video and realized that the game was not very loud. I have made it louder. We'll see how that goes. Hopefully not drowning me out at all, but we'll see. At least according to these little lines I'm seeing on the screen, we should be fine, but who knows? Who trusts these little lines nowadays? Who does? So, we have at this point uncovered a number of details. I did go back, so as folks may recall who watched the last one, at the end of the last one I ended up deleting all of my progress by accident. So I have gone back and reconstructed everything. I went back and I looked at the video and I just did all the same searches exactly the same way. So we are at the point where we left off, technically. There was like one or two searches I did not do that didn't pull anything up. I think that's the only difference. So, last time we came to the realization that this is not one person being interviewed, but two. They are twins. I think that up until a certain point, up until they reveal it in the in one of these interviews, you don't actually. I think they were still pretending to be the same person. They've been pretending to be the same person for a very long time, since the age of 17, at least. Or before that, probably, because they seem to be sharing a husband. Probably, possibly. It's weird, it's complicated. I don't know. We haven't uncovered as much about the nature of the relationship as we could. But we do know that they have for a very long time been pretending to be the same person, and that's been like apparently something that was second nature to them. One of them is named Hannah. We don't know the other name yet. I have a number of names that we can look up, and other things that I made note of. If you want to see, let me show you my. Let me see if I can show you my notebook here. My notebook, my Excel sheet, and we'll sort of go from there. Here it is. So yeah, this is essentially what I've been looking at. We were stopped actually at a very specific point, and I'm going to get to that in a second. But we have, what is it? We have what looks like, what appears to be 4 different interviews. This last one is actually from this one up here. I haven't sorted it yet. One of these interviews possibly. One might have replaced the other. I don't know if that's the thing that happens during the interview, but we'll see. So, don't know what's happening yet. We'll find out. The one without the tattoo and who wears the ponytail, I think, is supposed to be Hannah. I think. And the one who is not Hannah is the one who has a tattoo and wears her hair long. And who is the one who did not actually get married. But we knew that Hannah and this person who appears to have been murdered, Simon Smith, got married at the age of 17 because Hannah got pregnant and their parents made them get married. And we have information about, and it seems like during the first interview, the initial interview, the person who I think is Hannah's sister comes in pretending to be Hannah to report Simon missing. That seems to be what it is. I don't know. I'm not 100% certain, but we're gonna find out, I think. That's June of 94. These all took place in 1994. Let's see. So, on June 25th, with that interview, it appears that it appears to be Hannah that's in that interview, talking about just the nature of their relationship and some of the history of their relationship. And then a couple of days later, on the 27th of June, someone who I think is, I'm not sure which one of them it is. It could be both, possibly, one switching to the other. That's when murder starts being talked about. You know, they have found, we know that they have found Simon's watch. Then, a few days after that, on the 1st of July, there's an interview where they talk more, at least we know they talk more about the wedding, and then there's a photo of her in February. There actually was another one where there was a photo, wasn't there? It seems to be evidence against her the way they're talking about it. There was another photo in one of the earlier interviews where it says, "No, I was not there. That clears me. I was somewhere else." And I can't remember which one that is. Did I write that one down? I might not have. It was in Glasgow. There it is. That's while wearing the red jacket, but has the ponytail at that point. Where there is there's a time on the watch. Apparently they're thinking it's the time of death, I'm guessing. And at that time, apparently on whatever date they're talking about, she said she was in Glasgow. So that's most of what we have now. Again, we don't know exactly who we are. I have some suspicions that we might be one of these two sisters, actually, going back years later to look at this footage. And so we're sort of figuring all of that out. So, that now having been said, I'll go ahead and take that away. And we'll get back to it. Now, something interesting that happened. This is the last screen we were on before I hit the wrong thing. I haven't saved any clips this time around. Because I'm not sure. The notes seem to be working for me, so we'll see. I don't know if there's something where we have to put a number of clips in order. But the interesting thing that I found, you notice here, no search term. because it was something that I did, I think, by accident, actually. Is I hit search before typing anything in while it was blank. But it's pulled up a couple of videos we haven't looked at yet. This looks like it's from the first interview. So I think by putting in no criteria, we actually get, chronologically, probably, the first 5 videos. So we'll go ahead and look at those before we hop back to the one that we were on before it, which was Hannah, I believe, was what we had looked up. So let's get at it. And now furious note-taking. Okay, this is June 18th, and it's 9/17/04. '04, I should say. Which is earlier than anything else. Okay. Good. Let's see what we've got. 7 seconds.
A black coffee, thanks. No sugar. I'm sweet enough as it is.
Aha. As for black coffee, no sugar. Sweet enough as it is. Standard joke. Okay. And then she has the coffee. I wonder. Well, we'll get it back around to that. This one is 1808.
A mobile phone? Yeah. Well, they have one for the Glaziers, but it's only for work. I can't remember the number. Oh, it's in the kitchen. I saw it plugged into its charging cradle.
Okay. So I think and again, they don't have any footage of the interviewer. But it seems to me then that, they're asking about, they're asking if he has a mobile phone. In 1994, that was a big deal. Mobile phone is in the kitchen, plugged into its charging cradle. It's used for the Glaziers. We found out Simon worked as a glazier at Ernst Brothers Glass, and so back in the mid-90s, a lot of times when people had phones, it was mostly for work. When they had mobile phones, we did not have smartphones. We had cell phones of a sort. Let's see. Go ahead and sort this properly. Okay. So, asks for black coffee, identifies herself as Hannah Smith of 31 Gladstone Street. Talks about Simon, he works with Ernst Brothers, and says a mobile phone is in the kitchen, plugged into its charging cradle, that he uses it for the Glaziers. And describes Simon, and he wears glasses. He's got a scar from a long time ago. Mentions the Rockington Arms. It was married couple stuff, probably their last conversation, I'm guessing. And a long time. We got married when I was 17. That's probably how long we've known. Were you childhood sweethearts? Something like that. There's an Amstrad on which Simon plays fantasy games. Okay. Simon is the type to run off and do crazy things. Someone must have done something to him, or there was an accident. And asks what to do next. Okay. And that's everything we have from that about that interview thus far. All right. I'm gonna go back. I have a weird thought. Now, the previous search we were gonna go back to was for Hannah, and we've got where the name Hannah is mentioned, and we have more of these right here. On a strange whim, though, before I forget this, we will go back to that. I'm just gonna put in the word coffee. I don't know if there will be if there are clues to be had from it, but but I see that there are several, so we might come back to this as well. Is that a new one? 2/7/2 July 2nd. We don't have a July 2nd yet. Interesting. Okay, we'll definitely hop back to that. Wrong! Hang on. Back to Hannah. Okay. We will take a look and see what this is. What do we have here? We have June 30th. 15:53:11. Okay. June 30th. We don't have a June 30th yet. This is a new interview. And it's... what was it? 15:53:11. Is the time. And I can't see clearly what she's wearing, but we will figure that out. Here we go. This is 48 seconds.
What are you doing talking about Eve?
What are you doing talking about Eve?
Poor Simon.
That was interesting. That's a white and blue blouse. Ponytail, and I need to look and see if there's tattoos or a pendant. Hannah, what are you doing talking about Eve? Yourself. Slumped over table. And then there's a series of taps that might be, I don't know if it's some kind of code or what, but we'll see if we can figure that out. I have discovered since that I can adjust this. Let's see. I cannot see if there is a tattoo. Maybe, maybe not. There is no pendant. Is that the one?
What are you doing talking about Eve?
What are you doing talking about Eve? Wait.
Talking about Eve.
Right hand.
Talking about Eve.
Right index. 3. Left index. I don't know if that's a clue of some kind. This might be nothing. This might just be an acting choice rather than a clue. We'll see. I wish we could pause this. So it's like always index fingers, right? 3, 1, 3. All right, hang on. No idea if she's trying to signal someone who can hear her. But apps table with index fingers. Right 3, left 1 and 3, possibly. Oh boy.
What are you doing talking about Eve?
3, 1, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right. 4 and 5. Again, no idea if this is important or not. Wait a minute. One, 2. Left 1 and 1, basically. Oh boy. One, 1, 5 and 4. Right 5, left 4. I have no idea if this is important. Or if they just want us to know that she has nails. Good Lord, this. Five, okay. And right 5. Where's Simon? Right 5. And then poor Simon. No idea if any of this is relevant. But, you know, just putting that out there that it might be. Ponytail. No pendant. Maybe no tattoo. As I'm not sure how far down it was. That said, we can go back and check. In any case, Eve, that's another name to check on. You've not heard that yet? Okay. Now here we have her possibly strapped to a lie detector, if that's what this is. Who knows? Is it a polygraph? We don't know. Let's see. This is July 3rd, 94. So white shirt pendant. Yes. Okay. And it's at 11:27. Okay. So 11:27 and some change. 01. Okay. 11:27:01. White shirt pendant. Put polygraph. It appears.
Yes, my name is Hannah Smith. Oh, shit. Sorry.
Yes, my name is Hannah Smith. Where it says sorry. Might be where they're trying to establish a baseline. And she might have answered incorrectly? But there are ways, one of the ways that they talk about to defeat a polygraph is to think the opposite. If you know you're about to lie, think the opposite while you're saying the, what you want them to hear. Interesting. Okay. And this is at 11:29:13. "39 seconds. Okay. Here we go.
Across the road, where my parents first lived there, was a midwife called Florence. When Hannah was born, I was born at the same time. The midwife was there to help. I'd been throttled by the cord, probably wrapped around my neck by Hannah. The midwife told my mother I was dead. But I wasn't. She wrote all this stuff in a diary. Amazing what people will admit to on paper.
Okay. The plot thickens. Midwife called Florence. There's Hannah. Trying to throttle her with the cord. Okay. Hmm. Wife told her mother she was dead. Wrote it in a diary. I'm gonna rewatch that. Just so folks will know again, sorry, warning birth trauma. Yeah. Let me go ahead and actually put in now that we've got a couple of things going for it, I'm gonna go ahead and, this merits a content warning plate here. Let me go ahead and put that in here. Okay. We're going... Here we go. We'll go ahead and activate that for the intro card as well, just so that we have that there. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and play that again so that I can make sure I got the details here that I need.
Across the road, where my parents first lived there, was a midwife called Florence. When Hannah was born, I was born at the same time. The midwife was there to help. I'd been throttled by the cord, probably wrapped around my neck by Hannah. The midwife told my mother I was dead, but I wasn't. She wrote all this stuff in a diary. Amazing what people will admit to on paper.
Fascinating. And probably... Okay. Interesting. Okay. I'm gonna add Florence to my list of names here. Alright. I am wondering if, of the names that we've gotten so far, Simon and Hannah Smith, Peter, Susan, Helen, Eric, Diane, Eve, and Florence. Those are the names that I thought to write down anyway. I'm wondering if Eve is actually the other sister. I don't know. Anyway. This is fascinating. And also generates music. So clearly something is happening. Wonder if I should write down the music. The other one was also from the same interview, probably. And my guess is that the polygraph causes her to reveal that basically, and the polygraph messes her up, and she has to reveal that she decides to reveal that she is in fact two people. I think that's what's happening. So, let's see. We're going to go ahead and take a look at this other one. Did I write that down for the other one? Yes, I did. Okay, good. All right, this is 11:36:12. This has got to be the last interview. I say very confidently, and then find another interview later. 11:26. 12. Okay. Before the polygraph. No, wait, 36:12. That's after the polygraph. I don't know time. I can't read numbers. Alright, here we go. This is after the polygraph again.
She recognized me from the window. She told me to come inside, and she hid me. They had made the attic into a place where Hannah could play. There was a dollhouse. She hid me up there. No one else ever went into the attic. It was her place.
She recognized me and hid me in the attic. Whoever she is. It had been set up as a place and to play their toys. Okay. Interesting.
She recognized me from the window. She told me to come inside, and she hid me. They had made the attic into a place where Hannah could play. There was a dollhouse. She hid me up there. No one else ever went into the attic. It was her place.
Okay. And so was a place for Hannah to play. There was a dollhouse. From the window. Asked her in and hid her in the attic. I'm wondering who that is that she's talking about. It could be Florence, could be someone else. Okay. Or it could be Hannah. I don't know. Strange. And she talked about how she'd been living in the attic up until she was, what, 17? Something like that. Let me go ahead and sort my notes again. Okay. Very interesting. So now what we have... from this, what I'm calling right now the final interview, even though we don't know for sure, July 3rd interview. She denies murdering Simon, says, "You've got the wrong person. Yes, my name is Hannah Smith." While she's wearing the polygraph, she swears, sorry. Then, a couple of minutes later, she talks about being born and there being a midwife named Florence. And a few minutes later, like 7 minutes after that, she recognized me from the window, hid me in the attic, which had been set up as a place for Hannah to play. There was a dollhouse. And about, looks like 12 minutes after that, talks about having to stay in the attic after the wedding when Hannah moved in with his parents. So yeah, maybe there'd been oh wow, different when Hannah moved in with his parents. So attic to attic then, different attic. Okay, not being able to see him, trying to work with Hannah. Meeting up in the park, trying to get pregnant. That, and then of course about another 17 minutes after that, she asks for a lawyer. This last interview is going to be probably the meatiest, and probably is the one that has all of the musical sequences. I'm now guessing, because it's where everything comes out after the polygraph. I'm assuming. Yeah, it can't be. It's not long after the polygraph that all this torrent of information comes out. Okay. So, what now? Who knows? I'm wondering if we're supposed to grab and save the ones with music. Well, I can pull those up later if I want to. That's fine. Because I now have the... If I turn off the anti-glare filter. Who are we? I don't know how much of this you can see, but I can only see the bottom of the face. Because there's stuff up here now. Anyway, turn that back on so we can see. All right. What else am I doing? Who knows? No one knows. We should get to these other search topics that I wanted to get into. Let's see. We could randomly go back to coffee just for no apparent reason. Other than there are bits and pieces there. Before we jump into all of these other names and things that you might want to try to grab. Let's see. Yeah. Coffee I just did on a whim. But it led to more footage we haven't seen. We're just going to look at randomly and see what it means. There's, possible minor clue, right? This is on the level of stuff where it's where I would start typing in obscure crap. Oh, are we on the database? Yes. See, we've got a lot of the front end of the story. There are so many files. But we're filling stuff in, looks like. That's something. Okay. All right. So this is the one where she asks for black coffee.
A black coffee, thanks. No sugar. I'm sweet enough as it is.
Ha. And that's from the initial interview. And now let's see what this is. This is... Ponytail. Add something there. So... Possibly a ponytail, but she has the pendant. She's wearing the red jacket. Red jacket and shirt. And possibly the ponytail. This is June 27th, and it's 21:04:56. 56. Okay. Oh, 456. I know, this is terribly exciting. And possibly she has the ponytail at this point. We can confirm that when we start looking further. And I think also the pendant. I think I'm only... Yeah, we'll take a look real quick. Alright. Write that down. Okay, here we go.
Yes. I got to Glasgow, I was exhausted, so I pulled over and slept in the car. I woke up because a rubbish truck went past. I got some petrol, bought a coffee and a pastry, tried calling someone from a payphone, and then headed back.
You need to play that one more time.
Yes. I got to Glasgow, I was exhausted, so I pulled over and slept in the car. I woke up because a rubbish truck went past. I got some petrol, bought a coffee and a pastry, tried calling someone from a payphone, and then headed back.
Got petrol, coffee, and pastry. Tried to call Simon from a payphone.
Yes.
Tried calling Simon from a payphone, then headed back.
Payphone, and then...
Interesting. Okay. Huh. What was she doing in Glasgow? Good question. My list of places to check out. There used to be this thing called payphones, by the way, for anyone who may not recall, or who may not have been around at the time. In public, you would go to these booths that were this freestanding booths, and inside was a telephone, and you would put money in the telephone and punch the numbers on the telephone, and it would call people. Anyway, that's interesting. This is July 1st. Blue shirt and the tattoo. Yeah, that tattoo is pretty low down on the arm. So this is July 1st, 1422. What is it? 1422.32. And blue shirt, tattoo.
About 8 years back, it was a present to myself. I shouldn't even be drinking coffee with the baby. Years back, it was a present.
Wait a minute.
About 8 years back, it was a present to myself.
Just looking at the tattoo and rubbing it. Okay.
I shouldn't even be drinking coffee with the baby. It's been hard trying to give it up.
And she's pregnant?
They say you can have 1 cup.
All right. New information. About... Ah, I hear music! Is that relevant? Who knows? About 8 years back, looks at the tattoo. Hi, May. Hello. We are investigating. You're investigating a murder from 1994. The game is not from 1994. The game is from 2015. But looking at old footage to figure out things. The music, about 8 years back, looks at the tattoo. Shouldn't be drinking coffee with the baby. Is a baby involved now also, so apparently she is now pregnant. Was it a night? I have no idea what that means. 90s murder mystery, was it a night? Yeah, this is actually more of a thing where we're looking at archival footage from the 90s of this interview. We don't have the interviewer. We only have the answering of the questions split up into however, many tiny segments across this database. The database keeps getting filled in the more we look at. And apparently once we hit important clues, there's music. Okay, this looks like this is probably from the same interview. Storage capacity of the old days. Oh yeah. No. We were impressed when you could get things up to multiple megabytes. Let's see. Actually, it was the 90s. We got to the point we were like, I mean, we were starting to look at gigabytes of information at that point. We were like very impressed. This is same day, July 1st, 1429:06. $14.29.06. Do I remember Johnny Mnemonic? I do remember Johnny Mnemonic. I remember vaguely. I tried to put most of it out of my head, I will admit at the time. I went to see it, and then I did not like it at the time. I may have to go back and look at it again though at some point. It's been a while. But I remember there is some kind of joke about the fact that it was he was putting huge amounts of information in his head and that so much it hurt, and actually it was just like, by today's standards, a ridiculously small amount of information. I can't remember what the numbers were. But in any case, do let me know if the audio gets weird, or if the background music or interviews are too loud or what have you, or too soft. I'm just trying to make it work. 80 gigs. 80 whole gigs! Wow. That's a lot. So let's see. 1429.06. Did I put that in? I did. Okay, good. Perfect. Okay, good. Great. Thank you. Appreciate it. All right, let's look at this one. 6 seconds.
No. I've had enough coffee for today, thanks. Glass of water.
And enough coffee for today, thanks. Glass of water. I'd used coffee as a search because I couldn't help myself. Enough coffee for today, thanks. Glass of water? One never knows. And let's see. Then we have this one. And this is July 2nd, which we don't have anything from yet. So this will be interesting. July 2nd. Um, 14/18/33. Dark blue, long sleeves. It's a dark blue something, a dark blue top of some kind, or possibly a dress. We don't know. No idea if this woman has legs. She might. Hopefully she does. I think she does because she gets up at the end when she's being arrested. But, in any case. But, you know, if not, that's okay too. Let's see. This is 4 seconds. I got it. The word coffee.
Coffee, I guess. Milk and sugar.
Ah! That is different. You see? You see? This is a tiny clue! Coffee, I guess. Milk and sugar. But yet, this is on the 2nd at 2:18 in the afternoon. Coffee, I guess, milk and sugar. But yet, when she first comes in, on the 18th of June, she asks for black coffee, no sugar, and even makes a joke about it. Why has this changed? Why? Could be the pregnancy, possibly. Or it could be it could be a different person. Are there triplets? We don't know. This one isn't wearing a ponytail. I don't know. I can't tell them apart. Also, them being played by the same actress doesn't help. Anyway, really can't tell them apart. Interesting. Okay, and this is all just on a whim. I decided to use the search for the word coffee. But it gives us information, which I love. I love the fact that even a small thing can bring us more info. It's gonna get harder the more of these we uncover, but I have a feeling we've got quite a ways to go. Okay. And, pendant or no pendant? Pendant. Okay.
Coffee, I guess. Milk and sugar.
She is, in fact, wearing the pendant. Okay. All right. Now let us. Now we must turn to new search terms, and figure out what we want to look at. So we have Simon, we have Hannah, we have Peter, which we know we've looked at both of those, I think. Not Smith. We haven't looked at Smith by itself, but we could. Peter, Susan, Helen, Eric, Diane, Eve, and Florence are the names that I've written down here. Other possible search terms: Rome, because they talked about being in Rome. Rockington Arms, Ernst Brothers Glass, Amstrad, that's a computer, I think. February, which we might have actually already searched on February. I think we might have done that. Glasgow we haven't searched yet. We haven't searched anything about the word watch. I'm thinking of searching 31 Gladstone Street is their address. Also the name of a song I'm thinking about adding as a search term, if I can find it again here. In my notes, come back and stay. I'll put that in my places, things, and such. Because it might be important, you never know. I think actually, looking this over, if we're going by it systematically, I'm just going to search the word Smith. Is that Simon's surname? See what it shakes loose. Okay, already looked at them. This is all in here, so we've already seen all of those. We searched wedding, we searched married, we searched February. Okay. We searched Smith. I think I'm interested in... I am most curious about who Eve is. Let me see if I can find Eve. Okay, we have some entries. Access limited to first 5. But that's okay, 5 is enough. What time is it? We've been doing this about an hour. Okay. I gotta keep track every now and then. I will eventually want to do some sort of dinner. I should probably stop when the hunger overcomes me. Not that it'll be that much, but you know, we just have the snake meal in the middle of the day, and then we have fruits and what have you later. Anyway, why are we talking about this? I don't know. Let's look at these Eve videos. I'm very much enjoying piecing this together. Piecing this timeline together. So this is June 30th. And, he's wearing the white / blue blouse with ponytail, short ponytail, no pendant, maybe no tattoo. No tattoo. That she got 8 years ago, apparently. And this is 1550-58. And, let's see.
Well, my friend Eve.
My friend Eve.
I mean, she was a friend from when I was a kid. She was always more popular with the boys, and I used to hate her for it. I mean, really hate her sometimes.
Aha! Nothing pent up there. My friend Eve. And this when he was a kid. Popular with the boys. Really hated her for that. Sometimes. That doesn't seem ominous at all.
Well, my friend Eve. I mean, she was a friend from when I was a kid. And she was always more popular with the boys, and I used to hate her for it. I mean, really hate her sometimes.
My friend. Is that the name of the other sister? Is it the other sister, in fact? Who knows? This is 1551-30. Same interview. Take a look. 42 seconds.
Yes. We'd fight. We fought on the beach once, and I held Eve's head underwater.
Oh, great.
There was no one else around. It was at the far end of the beach, and I held her head under, and I kept it under. And for a moment, I just wanted to kill her and watch her drown.
Yeah, it's such a good relationship.
But that was it. It was just a moment. We made up after. It was a love-hate relationship.
Everything is fine. Make sure everything. Oh God, the music is back. This is important. Okay. These folk are very forthright. Yes. Yes. I'm gonna have to watch that again because I need to find out. I missed some stuff. So, as I was busy, being terrified. Hang on a moment.
Yes. We'd fight.
We'd fight.
We fought on the beach once, and I held Eve's head underwater. There was no one else around. It was at the far end of the beach, and I held her head under, and I kept it out. And for a moment, I just wanted to kill her and watch her drown. But that was it. It was just a moment. We made up after. It was a love-hate relationship.
It was a love-hate relationship. Good God. That's, yeah. It's being very forthcoming about your feelings there. About Eve. Let's see, this is at 15:52:16. "43 seconds.
A police station. Yeah. When I was young. We ran away on my birthday. Bob Dylan was playing in London, and we thought we could break into his tour bus and have him take us with him.
Ah.
The taxi driver we paid to drop us off. I mean, we'd saved money, pinched a bit here and there to pay for the fare. He was suspicious because we were so young, so he told the police. So they came and picked us up and took me back to Portsmouth. My mum picked me up from the station. But I blamed everything on my friend Eve. So my parents let me off.
Wow. Okay. Let's see. There's a lot there. A lot of little things, actually, I still want to write down in case they make good search terms later. So, once again, I'm going to play that again.
A police station. Yeah. When I was young. We ran away on my birthday. Bob Dylan was playing in London, and we thought we could break into his tour bus and have him take us with him. The taxi driver we paid to drop us off. I mean, we'd saved money, pinched a bit here and there to pay for the fare. He was suspicious because we were so young, so he told the police. So they came and picked us up and took me back to Portsmouth. My mum picked me up from the station. But I blamed everything on my friend Eve. So my parents let me off.
Back to Portsmouth. Portsmouth might be important. Another letter off because you blamed Eve. Okay. So let me actually write Portsmouth down here. And then, of course, she berates herself for talking about Eve. Then we have this. The final interview. From the quote-unquote final interview, or what I'm calling the final interview. 11/28/34. Seconds.
My mother called me Eve.
My mother called me Eve. Well, there it is. That is. So Eve is in fact her name. So it's Hannah and Eve. Those are the twins. We have both names. We now know that in fact it is true that this friend, childhood friend, that she keeps talking about is in fact her twin sister. So Hannah ended up marrying Simon. Eve did not, because Hannah got pregnant. Pregante. Apparently, we find it here. Eve, and I think it's Eve that we're talking to, says she shouldn't be drinking coffee with the baby, or says that she's pregnant. Or indicates that she's pregnant. We don't know if that's true or not, but we'll see. Because I think we've determined that this person has issues. Person has some issues. I strongly suspect. I'm actually going to search for baby, because this is bringing us down a path here that I'm wondering about a few things. Let me see if it brings up anything new. It does. Any discussion of a baby, of any caliber. So this is from the interview on the 25th. Yeah. Nobody puts baby in the search bar. Patrick Swayze will now come and ask me to turn off the game. Let's see. So this was on the 25th. We've seen this before. 1340. They spent the night after the wedding at a hotel in Brighton. They had to save for the baby. Okay. Same interview? On the 25th, 1340-48. Thirteen 48. "25 seconds.
We couldn't afford our own place. Simon dropped out of school, went full-time at the Glaziers. That was Eric's generosity.
Ah.
We moved in with his mum and dad. They had a spare room for us and the baby, if it came. It was a nice change, time to myself, living there for those months, full of hope.
So, Eric is Simon's boss, apparently, and the one who gave Simon his watch for their steel anniversary. There's also a timing difference, interestingly, there, because there was one point. I know he could have just been being vague, but the steel anniversary is the 11th anniversary, apparently. But an earlier interview, or in another slice of one of the other interviews, she said they'd been married 10 years. But again, they could have just been being vague. But that identifies that. Let me go ahead and play it again so I can actually take notes.
We couldn't afford our own place. Simon dropped out of school, went full-time at the Glaziers. That was Eric's generosity. We moved in with his mum and dad. They had a spare room for us and the baby, if it came. It was a nice change, time to myself, living there for those months, full of hope.
Nice change, time to herself. Full of hope. Which perhaps might be true if this is Hannah. This is 1341-12. MPEG files.
No. I lost the baby.
Ah.
I had a miscarriage at 8 months. We carried on living at Simon's parents until, well, it was only a few months after.
Okay. Lost the baby at 8 months. Lived with Simon's parents a few months afterward. More music! You're getting a lot of info here. Okay. Now this is from June 27th. So this is red jacket and shirt. This is no ponytail. And it is 2054. Yeah. I'm imagining during this interview, maybe, like, that Eve starts the interview and then Hannah comes and then has to leave the room, makes an excuse to leave the room, and then Hannah comes in and finishes the interview. I'm guessing that might be what happens here, but we'll see. This is the interview where they start talking about murder. And this is probably Eve, 205402. Unless I have them backwards, which I easily might. I don't know. We'll never know. Never. Well, maybe we'll know. I don't. Depends on how far we get. Okay. This is over 1 minute and 13 seconds, so this one might be particularly going to be long. Might be informative. User tags blank. Oh, that's right. I can tag this. Perhaps I should have been doing that. Who cares? Let's go.
It was after dinner. I'd spoken to Sam's parents on the phone. I looked up for an early night and I suddenly had this thought. I think it was something his mum had said. She'd been speaking about old stuff, sad stuff, about when we lived there, about the baby. There's some boxes in the cellar, nursery stuff we never needed, and I never had the heart to throw out. And I suddenly remembered that when I'd looked down there the week before, those boxes, that pile was in the wrong place. I went cold all over. I went down there with a torch and went straight to the back, and that's when I saw the bin bags. Pulled them open, saw the body. I screamed, and that's when I called the police.
Okay. It got a little dimmer there. What's happening? What's happening? Everybody all right? Everything still seems to be in place as far as I can tell. Okay. Talks about discovering the body in the bin bags. In the basement. And calling the police. This is 5402. Is there more than one murder here? I assumed we'd been talking about Simon's murder. It could still be. Could be. Like, let me... Because... No. I have to play this again.
It was after dinner. I'd spoken to Sam's parents on the phone. I looked up for an early night and I suddenly had this thought. I think it was something his mum had said. She'd been speaking about old stuff, sad stuff, about when we lived there, about the baby. There's some boxes in the cellar, nursery stuff we never needed, and I never had the heart to throw out. And I suddenly remembered that when I'd looked down there the week before, those boxes, that pile was in the wrong place. I went cold all over. I went down there with a torch and went straight to the back, and that's when I saw the bin bags. Pulled them open, saw the body. I screamed, and that's when I called the police.
It concerns me that she found the body in multiple bin bags. Just a bit. I I mean, I guess maybe the body was being prepared for efficient disposal. Good God. As the thing apparently is to chop it up into at least, you know, a certain number of pieces. God. Really? Is that the thing, Jim? I don't know. According to TV, that's what they say. Let's see. Oh, no. There's something... I have to wonder also if she's trying to deflect blame here. Possibly. I don't know. Something ain't right. Something's wrong. So this is from later in the interview. Hang on, let me it looks like let me see. I can tell immediately because of the ponytail. So there's a chance this might be Hannah. But let's see. This is it's 20 seconds. It is 20:58:25.
Yes. It was a shock to him. I mean, we never thought it was possible. I don't know what he... I mean, I hadn't decided whether to keep the baby. I wasn't really ready to talk to him about it.
It was a shock to him. Different music.
Yes. It was a shock to him. I mean, we never thought it was possible. I don't know what he... I mean, I hadn't decided whether to keep the baby. I wasn't really ready to talk to him about it.
Wasn't ready to talk to him about it. Presumably Simon, but yeah. Who knows? An interesting thing actually about this one also. I'm just noticing. I don't know if this is interesting or not. There's a wedding ring there. And earlier in this interview, is there a wedding ring? There is.
It was after
Okay.
dinner.
Wedding ring pendant, same thing. Okay. And she's playing with the wedding ring there.
Stuff we never needed.
Okay. Very interesting. Curious. Let me go ahead and put all of these in order again, because I feel as though that might help. It might help us somewhat. Let's see. We're gonna have like over 200 of these freaking things when we get down to it. Okay. So this again, we're looking at this interview here. What do we know so far? So within the same span of a few minutes. So it's murder, offers to help. After dinner, I talked to Simon's mom on the phone, went to the basement, saw the box of the nursery stuff. had been moved, found the bodies, and then says it was a shock to him. We never thought it was possible. I hadn't decided whether to keep the baby. Wasn't ready to talk to him about it. And this is 4 minutes later. Then, about 6 minutes after that, got to Glasgow, was exhausted, pulled over and slept in the car. Woke up when the rubbish truck went back. Then looks at a watch in the baggie. That's Simon's watch. Gift from Eric this year. Steel anniversary. Probably Diane's idea. Okay. Trying to decide what to search next. I'm kind of feeling just going back to the people. I think maybe we can start looking more into, I'm gonna lean more toward, Eric, Diane, and the business. Ernst Brothers Glass. Maybe we can find out a little bit more about that. It's fascinating. Okay. See what we can come up with when we search for Eric. Okay, five new videos. Eric apparently gets mentioned a lot early on. We've only got the stuff from early on. 14 entries found. But we can only get to the first 5. Always the first 5. But these are all new. Are we looking? Okay. There's a lot. Okay, this is 27 seconds. This is from the initial interview, looks like. It's on the 18th. 1944. Music changed again. This is 27 seconds.
He was wearing a shirt.
Good.
It's a blue turtleneck shirt and jeans. He has a watch. It's a really nice one. That was a gift from his boss, Eric. He had his coat, a long grey duffel coat, like Paddington Bear. He would have taken that with him. It's not in the house.
In a blue turtleneck shirt. Very nice watch. A gift from his boss, Eric. I'm going to come back to that in a second. Long gray coat, like Paddington. I've taken it with him. She says that very specifically. And yet, well, yeah, it's not really anything that raises any suspicion. She refers to that watch again in when they show it to her. When she says, I was in Glasgow at that time. When she sees the time on the watch. They have identified that this is his boss. That Eric is his boss, as we suspected. Okay. This is 1920-24. It's kind of because there's some specific chunks of this that I want to see if I can find, but it's going to be tricky to kind of look in and figure out, okay, what were they talking about earlier in that conversation or later in that conversation. Go with this one, see what it says.
So, it was Friday evening. We had an argument. He left. On Saturday, he didn't come back. I waited all day. He was supposed to go help Eric out with something on the Saturday afternoon. They had a job. He didn't show. So Eric was ringing on the phone. I checked at The Rock, that's our local.
Mm-hmm.
They said they'd seen him on the Friday night, but not since. He still wasn't back this morning. It just isn't like him at all. Still not back by dinner time. It's getting dark again. So I decided to come see you. His parents haven't heard anything either.
Talks about Simon going missing, basically. Starting, when was it?
So,
Friday evening we had an
Friday
argument.
evening, we had an argument. He left. On Saturday, he didn't come back. I waited all day. He was supposed to go help Eric out with something on the Saturday afternoon. They had a job. He didn't show. So Eric was ringing on the phone. I checked at The Rock, that's our local. They said they'd seen him on the Friday night, but not since. He still wasn't back this morning. It just isn't like him at all. Still not back by dinner time. It's getting dark again. So I decided to come see you. His parents haven't heard anything either.
So it's been, if I was paying attention to that correctly, that's like Saturday night that she's there. Okay. Because apparently last seen at the Rock, which you mentioned before, the Rockington Arms. I believe is what she's referring to. But you put that that's probably an alternate. Alternate name for it. This is from 1923-02. Okay. Seconds.
Yes, there's a car that we share, a Cavalier,
Hmm.
and a van he uses for work. It's owned by Eric, but we look after it. Both of them are there now, parked in the street. I'm not sure about the keys for the van. I can look for you when I get back.
Okay. The car they share. A Cavalier. Chevy Cavalier. All right. And work van. Both parked on the street. I think she said not sure about the van's keys. But we'll check. Let me look at that one more time.
Yes, there's a car that we share, a Cavalier, and a van he uses for work. It's owned by Eric, but we look after it. Both of them are there now, parked in the street. I'm not sure about the keys for the van. I can look for you when I get back.
Yeah. The van is owned by Eric. Okay. And same interview, yes, 1924-25. And this is 15 seconds.
Yes, that would be in his wallet. It's a Visa, a silver one. He doesn't like to spend money he doesn't have, so he usually pays with cash, but Eric convinced him to get one.
Ah. Okay. It'd be a silver Visa. Card in his wallet. He usually pays with cash. Eric convinced him to get the card. Okay. Alright. And now we have this. From the next interview on the 25th, it looks like. Probably, is it? Yes. At 13:35:53. $13:35:53, is that right? Yes.
Well, Eric was like an uncle to him. They were pretty close. They spend a lot of time with each other, especially when they have to go to conferences. Have you met his wife, Diane?
Eric's wife is Diane. Kind of suspected that might be the case. But, Eric is like an uncle to Simon. Spend a lot of time together. Go to conferences. Eric's wife is Diane. Okay. Let me check it again real quick.
Well, Eric was like an uncle to him. They were pretty close. They spend a lot of time with each other, especially when they have to go to conferences. Have you met his wife, Diane?
All right. Okay. I suspected that because she said the watch was probably Diane's idea, but that Eric was the one who gave it. So that's what that is. Okay. I think I've got a little bit more time. I am going to probably want to dive off soon. But I want to do at least like maybe one or two more searches. At least one more search. I've got to decide what I want to search for. There was something that came up. The last place to see Simon was the Rockington Arms. So I might actually want to check that again. There's a lot here. There's so much here. There are many things. And also the watch keeps coming up. I'm going to start with Rockington, then go to Rock. Okay, just the one we've seen already.
It's the Rockington Arms, the Rock. It's run by a nice couple, Peter and Susan.
Peter and
There's some
Susan.
other regulars there that Simon likes to drink with. And the barmaid they're having sometimes, Helen.
Ellen.
Peter said Simon had been in and had a few drinks.
Peter, Susan, and Helen are all names we get from the Rockington Arms. Let me check the Rock. Oh, we got a couple more mentions of Rock. This is from second interview on the 25th, 1343-22. Oh, later than we have already. Okay. Seconds.
Oh, God, I don't know. I mean, I guess the Rock. You've spoken to everyone there. Someone must have seen where he went. I don't know. So many things could have gone wrong.
Right. I don't know. The Rock. Spoken to everyone there. So many things that have gone wrong. Is that how she phrased it?
Oh, God, I don't know. I mean, I guess the Rock. You've spoken to everyone there. Someone must have seen where he went. I don't know. So many things could have gone wrong.
Yeah. It's true. This is an interview we discovered more recently. One of those. On the 30th. And it's at 15:42:23. This is earlier than we have in that interview. And then we've had thus far from that interview. 15:42:23. Alright. 9 seconds, okay.
No one has been in the last few weeks. We had a plumber come in 3-4 weeks ago. Someone Simon knew from the Rock.
Uh-huh. No one has been in weeks. Plumber. Simon knew from the Rock. Came in 3 to 4 weeks ago.
No one has been in the last few weeks. We had a plumber come in 3-4 weeks ago. Someone Simon knew from the Rock.
I mean, probably pointless to follow this up, but yes, it is. Okay. Let me go ahead and resort my My list here. Okay. I think maybe, yes, check out the names we got from the rock. Let me see if we can knock those out. Peter, Susan, and Helen. Okay, we've seen that one already. That one too. And Helen. One more Helen reference. Looks like that same initial interview at 1921-14. Seconds.
No. I think he spoke to Helen. She said he was upset about her argument, but I'm not sure what else he said. He likes Helen. He likes blondes.
He spoke to Helen about their argument. He likes Helen. He likes blondes.
No. I think he spoke to Helen. She said he was upset about her argument, but
He was upset
I'm
about
not sure
her.
what else he said. He likes Helen. He likes blondes.
And he was upset about their argument. Gotcha. Okay. So that's Peter, Susan, and Helen. I actually searched most of these names now. I've got Diane and Florence left. Let me check out Ernst Brothers again and The Watch. We're sort of drifting into info on work before I grab anything else. Ernst. Nope, that's it. And one we haven't seen about The Watch. From what looks like the final interview, 7-3. That's 12:04:21. Seconds. Okay.
It happened very quickly. We hardly had to talk to each other. We agreed almost silently. The baby was what mattered. We'd help each other. We cleaned up. We bagged up the broken mirror, her clothes. They're gone. We took him down to the cellar. We had an alibi. And we wanted the body to be found later.
Okay.
We wanted to have suspicion on us. So we could then disprove it, rather than have it linger. Better to keep the body in the house than risk being seen with it. The watch, that was my touch. To make sure the alibi stuck.
Did they kill Simon together? Did Hannah and Eve kill Simon together? That's a lot. That's a lot. There's a lot to write down there. Okay. Confession. We're gonna hear that again.
It happened very quickly. We hardly had to talk to each other. We agreed almost silently. The baby was what mattered. We'd help each other. We cleaned up. We bagged up the broken mirror, her clothes. They're gone. We took him down to the cellar. We knew we had an alibi, and we wanted the body to be found later. We wanted to have suspicion on us, so we could then disprove it, rather than have it linger. Better to keep the body in the house than risk being seen with it. The watch, that was my touch, to make sure the alibi stuck.
Make sure the alibi stuck. I was in Glasgow at the time. Oh! There's a lot. There's a lot there. That's interesting. There's several things there. There's a broken mirror. The baby was what mattered. She did say she's pregnant. Moving down to the cellar, wanted the body to be found later, wanted suspicion. Oh man. Okay. That's so much. There's so much going on there. A phenomenal amount of things going on there. Very close to the end of the database, I guess, in the timeline of things. Which makes sense. There's only one clip that I have at this point from after it, and I'm assuming it's that one. Okay. Wow. One volume missing. So we got a lot out of that. Kind of curious about this mirror. Nothing from the... we're not going to have anything from the final interview, even though there are more entries. We heard mirror in these places. Not that it's a theme or anything, but...
My name is Hannah. H-A-N-N-A-H. It's palindrome. It reads the same backwards as forwards. It doesn't work if you mirror it though. It's not quite symmetrical, but well, I mean, you get the idea.
Right.
Simon Smith. He works at Ernst Brothers Glass. They do windows, all kinds of glass. Simon does the more special work. Mirror making, feature windows,
He makes
artistic
mirrors.
things. Really beautiful things.
Okay. New clip. This is from the interview on the 25th. 13/37/27.
It wasn't the present so much. It was one of those arguments that had been simmering for a while. The present was a mirror. A nice mirror. He'd engraved the glass, the kind of mirror a princess would have in a story. He made it specially for me.
The argument wasn't about mirror. Describes a mirror Simon, apparently, had made, engraved. I gotta grab the rest of that real quick.
It wasn't the present so much. It was one of those arguments that had been simmering for a while. The present was a mirror, a nice mirror. He'd engraved the glass, the kind of mirror a princess would have in a story. He made it specially for me.
Engraved the glass, kind of mirror a princess would have in a story. Made it for her. Okay. Have we tried the mirror game on the faux desktop? Yes. It's an amusing little thing. But yeah, interesting that it's there is the fact that it is there might be a bit of a hint. But yeah, it's one of those things where you can go to, you can, depending on, you know, which side you're supposed to change off who's playing, right? And you keep playing until the whole thing is filled up. And, you know, whoever has the most tokens wins. At the end. And I'm not going to play through the whole thing now, but apparently the mirror game HSoft Cracker, Cyber Ghost, Supplier, The Legends, Packager, Illusionist. Is it Othello? You know, it has been so long since I have played Othello, I cannot remember. Unfortunately. Classic two-player strategy for lunchtime gaming. Enjoy. You can try looking up, like, HSoft or GHack or... Correct. I can't quite... Grace Hack? Yeah. I had to look at it on the stream. Be able to read it. I can't read it this close to it. Not any easier to read like this. But if I go and I look at it on the screen from, I'm sort of at a, I've got the stream playing on my TV monitor over there just so that I can just make sure nothing weird is happening with the stream. And it's like from this angle I can see much more easily these letters. It says Grace Hack. One wonders if there's any of this in there anywhere. You know, you never know. You can write it down just in case. You know, it says that plus HSoft, Cyber Ghost, Legends. If I want to use any of those as search terms at some point. Illusionist. You've never seen us. Like a bunch of names from that. Who knows? Cracks with class. She did mention that they had a computer that he played games on. So I mean, that might come back around at some point. We're pretty sure she's talking about a computer. Amstrad. Which I kind of assume is an electronics company. Yes, there it is. Remember, I'd heard it before. A British electronics company founded in 1968. Okay. That's what I thought. It's just, I am not as familiar. But, anyway. What have we here? Now, this is from the interview where they might switch on us, who is talking to us. From the 27th, 21/10/24. Later in that interview. This is possibly Hannah.
The mirror. I can't remember. I put it somewhere safe. Upstairs, I think. I haven't looked at it since.
Okay. And this is from the 30th. (1547/27).
Silverleaf? No. He normally silvers them properly. This mirror, it's supposed to look antique. The reflection isn't as good. It's the perfect mirror for someone who doesn't like to look at their own reflection.
Okay. So this is now where the second evidence item that we've gotten into. Silverleaf, I am assuming, is a design with something to do with designing mirrors. Not sure. Sounds like it. I don't know.
Silverleaf? No. He normally silvers them properly. This mirror, it's supposed to look antique. The reflection isn't as good. It's the perfect mirror for someone who doesn't like to look at their own reflection.
Perfect mirror for someone who doesn't like looking at their reflection. Ah, okay. Interesting. Possible things about the mirror making technique. Looks at mirror in evidence baggie. An evidence bag. Okay. Interesting. All right. That was hunting for details about the mirror. Let me see. Is there anything else I want to quickly look at before I dive out? I kind of got sidetracked onto certain things. Glass. Well, it's it's also related to his work. That's why I've been sort of digging into stuff about his work. We have almost everything except this one, which is probably still talking about the mirror. Let's see. 1547/48. Yep. Be like right after the last one, maybe.
Look, on his clothes, that would make sense. He made it by hand. I mean, he brushes the silver onto the glass. It's not how they make mirrors these days. I mean, he made the mirror, and he gave it to me.
Ah, okay. So maybe they found silver on his clothes. He silvers them himself, yeah? Okay, we've already got all the references to silver. Huh. Okay, yeah. I gotta get going. Let's see. Well, we still haven't looked at, at the names Diane and Florence. Yeah, these other searches actually were faster than I thought they were going to be, so that helps. We have a few references to Diane we haven't seen. She's got a guitar over here. Apparently music is going to happen. This is from, again, the 25th. And this is 133608.
Diane is really nice. She helps out with the glaziers, organises the Christmas party, that sort of thing. They have 2 kids, really sweet kids. She used to look out for me when I worked there.
Hang on.
Diane is really nice. She helps out with the glaziers, organises the Christmas party, that sort of thing. They have 2 kids, really sweet kids. She used to look out for me when I worked there.
Huh. You worked at the Glaziers as well. We did not know that up until now, that she worked at the Glaziers. Also, just rechecking on my search terms here. This is from the 30th, 1550-12. Seconds.
Not really. He would go to the pub. He had his drinking buddies there, but no one ever really came back to the house. Sometimes Eric, his boss, and his wife would come over for dinner. That would be us returning the favour. Diana's a really good cook, into her trendy ingredients. And the last time Simon cooked something off MasterChef, he got the recipe off CFAX, and I did my Lloyd Grossman bit, commenting from the sidelines. I had to find fennel from the supermarket. Have you ever eaten fennel?
I feel as though this is not going to be... there are a lot of names that have just gotten thrown out, but I have a feeling that they all have to do with popular television, have to do with a cooking show. We'll look at that one more time.
Not really. He would go to the pub. He had his drinking buddies there, but no one ever really came back to the house. Sometimes Eric, his boss, and his wife would come over for dinner. That would be us returning the favour. Diana's a really good cook, into her trendy ingredients. And the last time Simon cooked something off MasterChef, he got the recipe off CFAX, and I did my Lloyd Grossman bit, commenting from the sidelines. I had to find fennel from the supermarket. Have you ever eaten fennel?
Simon once did a recipe from... I'm going to write this down, even though it is perhaps of no consequence.
Not really. Time Simon cooked something off MasterChef.
Took something off MasterChef, got the recipe off CFAX.
Cooked something off MasterChef. He got the recipe off CFAX, and I did my Lloyd Grossman bit, commenting from the sidelines.
CFAX.
I had to find fennel from
Might
the
be a
supermarket.
service of some kind.
Have you ever eaten fennel?
Need to go get fennel. Supermarket. There is a technological aspect to this. I will go ahead and write that down, even though I don't know if it's going to be useful. The CFAX might be a service from bulletin board. Who knows? From '94, unless it's something common that I just don't know about. Means I could Google it. CFAX is a TV program, apparently. World's first teletext information service and forerunner. But also forerunner to the current BBC Red Button service, it says. Okay. I gotcha. Okay, so it is from TV. Alright. I gotcha. So, here's a guitar. This is from July 1st, 1436-56. Guitar.
Simon and Eric arguing? No, I can't imagine they'd be arguing. And they get on so well. Unless it was something to do with work. Maybe Simon was being too much of a perfectionist. But I don't know. You should ask Diane.
Simon was perfectionist. Should ask Diane. Okay. I'm sure she has a guitar for a reason. This is just the portion of the interrogation where we hand the suspect a guitar. It's part of every interrogation. They express themselves musically for us. So that we may read between the lines and find the truth. Okay, I gotta get going. But I will go ahead and I will do a search for Florence before I go, because I must. The midwife. There's more information here about Florence. Five entries found. Okay, so this is all the information in the database. The only times she ever mentions Florence, apparently. Let's see. This is, let me go ahead and once again resort my database here. Database. My spreadsheet. Not a true database. Okay. Again, from what I've been calling the final interview, 11/29/45.
Florence took me home with her. Mother hadn't been expecting twins and had a healthy baby. I guess she was just happy for Florence to clean up. Take away the evidence that this was anything but a happy occasion.
Florence took her home. I mean, I figure anything from this part of the interview probably triggers the music just because it's like, information!
Florence took me home with her. Mother hadn't been expecting twins and had a healthy baby. I guess she was just happy for Florence to clean up. Take away the evidence that this was anything but a happy occasion.
So, this is really implying that, her own mother did not know that they were, that the other twin had survived, and so that did not realize that they were two people. But she was actually fooling her own family. Apparently. That's what she wants us to believe. I think. That's what seems to be aiming at here. The twins separated at birth. 11/30/15.
Florence raised me in her home. I never left it. She kept me out of sight. It wasn't odd for people to see a midwife with a baby, carrying in supplies, washing nappies, that sort of thing. I never knew any different. I grew up looking out of my window and seeing her across the road.
Right.
I thought it was like a reflection in the mirror.
Huh.
She was me.
So yeah, because right, because she said the midwife lived across the street. Different music. We kept her inside. We'd look out the window and see her. Hannah probably, or yeah. And a reflection in a mirror. One of those mirror references that we weren't able to get earlier because it limits us to the first 5 videos it pulls. Or first 5 clips it pulls. Yeah. Oh, this one's longer. 11:33:30.
Florence was a warm, kind person. But she was broken, I guess. When I found her diary, I also found a biscuit tin with other stuff in it. Older papers, letters, that kind of thing. Her story wasn't there.
You said the thing!
I never really spoke to her about it. I was far too young to really understand. I guess I just put it together later, once I was older. She had loved children, planned to have a large family, but her husband died in the war. And that was back when you married for life. She never felt like she could marry again. Isn't that strange? She was a widow from her 20s. But, I mean, I guess it was different then. You know, you married for life and she felt she could never marry again. I guess it was harder, a war widow. One of the dead. I don't know, maybe there was more to it than that. I don't really know.
Okay. I don't know if this is... Her story was in her diary. Okay. Just wrote down basic information there because there's a lot. This last one is 11:34:34.
No, it was just me and her. Eve was the name they were going to call their first child. They talked about it and were going to try when he came back. Florence's family had a history of firstborn girls, so they were convinced it was going to be a girl. It's hard to know if this is all true. These are stories I remember, that I read when I was a child. Maybe I misread, maybe I misunderstood. Sometimes it's hard to remember what happened last week.
Hmm. Eve was the name Florence was going to give to her child.
No. It was just me and her. Eve was the name they were going to call their first child. They talked about it and were going to try when he came back. Florence's family had a history of firstborn girls, so they were convinced it was going to be a girl. It's hard to know if this is all true. These are stories I remember, that I read when I was a child. Maybe I misread, maybe I misunderstood. Sometimes it's hard to remember what happened last week.
Hmm. Okay. This is a decent amount of information we've gotten here. But of course, it is still not everything. There is more. I am going to do a search. I'm not going to look at any videos that come out of it right this moment, but I just want to do it so that I remember next time. So there is more when I hit the word diary. That's going to be important. Okay. So, let me go over some things here. Let me go over a few details. That we have here before I go for the evening. So we have several clips from, let us see. Let me look at just the. I'm gonna leave it on this screen and I'm gonna look at what we have. So we have several clips. I say I'm leaving it on the screen. So we've got several clips from the first interview on the 18th. There are like 17 of these. And it's mostly the information we've filled in on it from that one is just a little bit more about his initial disappearance. Assuming they did not just, it's sounding as though that both Eve and Hannah decided to slay him, and they were pretending up until that moment at the with the polygraph that they were pretending to be the same person. But let's see. Yeah, it's talking about Simon's habits in the first interview. In the second interview, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, like 10 clips right now. Talking a little bit about Eric, talking about the Diane, about the Glaziers. I didn't search the term Glazier specifically. I will need to do that soon. And then goes back to talk about getting pregnant, getting married, and immediately afterwards, and about losing the baby, the miscarriage. And then, circling back around to, where, talking a little bit about, where to find him. On the 27th, we have right now 6 clips from that. Talking about murder. Talking about finding the body in the basement. It is interesting how she goes from "How can I help?" to and being surprised at it being murder, to talking about finding a body, and then calling the police, and the story about Glasgow and finding Simon's watch, and which we all know it's all a fabrication. It must be it sounds like they murdered Simon together. We have 8 clips from the 30th, where she talks about that no one has been over for a while. They talk about the mirror a little bit and how Simon makes mirrors. They talk about Eve is mentioned, and how they did not get along and hated each other, but were also friends. And so they sort of diverge talking about that. On July 1st, I've got 6 clips of that. They go back and talk about the wedding again, about the shotgun wedding, and revealing that she is in fact pregnant now. Identifies herself in a photo taken in February, can't remember all the way back then. And then later she has a guitar for some reason. In that same interview. Just saying that Simon and Eric never argued unless it had to do with work. I have 1 clip from the day after, the 2nd of July, where she asks for coffee with milk and sugar. Uncharacteristically. And then the rest of this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 clips from what I've been calling the final interview on the 3rd of July, where everything starts coming out. She denies murdering Simon. You've got the wrong person. Says that she's Hannah while wearing a polygraph. I'm assuming the polygraph test does not go well. And she starts talking about that she's Eve. Her mother called her Eve. Talks about being born. Talks about living with Florence, the midwife. Taking her away. Telling the mother that she had died. And staying across the street, seeing Hannah from the window, and then talking about having to stay in an attic after the wedding when Hannah moved in with his parents. So by that point, they'd been pretending to be the same person. And then something happened very quickly. They hardly had to talk to each other. They agreed the baby was what mattered, and they bagged up the broken mirror. Her clothes, it says, and took him down to the cellar. There's more here. There's more story here. Someone else was involved. Then asks for a lawyer. So that's everything we've got on these interviews thus far. We're filling in more details. Still some questions to be answered, but we're getting there, and this is pretty cool. I'm enjoying this quite a bit. I do enjoy investigative games, as it turns out. I'm looking forward to jumping back in and playing some more of this. I don't know how soon that's going to be. But probably, maybe sometime over the next few days, into the weekend or whenever. Whenever there's time, whenever there's space for it. In the meantime, what do we have happening? So let's see, today is Wednesday. On Friday, we have another session of The Boiling Point, one of our 2 story arcs in Don't Rest Your Head. They've spotted the club belonging to the host, and a nightmare known as the host very creepy and also flirty nightmare. And we will see how things go. They might be ending up there. Let's see what else is happening. So we have that on Friday. On Monday, we have the Frozen Soul, the other story arc in Don't Rest Your Head. They made it to the Mad City, and they started to get information about. They tracked some. They're trying to find their friend Leo, who was kidnapped by a nightmare, and they've made inquiries in the Garden District, and they're perhaps about to be found out by giant anthropomorphic vegetables. It's terrifying. At least and also hysterical. So that's where they left off there. And then on Tuesdays, when we have folks available, unfortunately we couldn't this past Tuesday, but due to technical difficulties. But this coming Tuesday, hopefully, we'll be back with Electric Bastion Land, which Sarah is running, and we'll do a little treasure hunting. So looking forward to that. And that's everything that's coming up. May, thank you very much for watching. Take care. I see you there. Everyone else, also, thank you very much. Thank you, everyone, for coming and staring at this. I very much appreciate it. I think that shall be it for now. I might go say hi to someone when we hit the end card, possibly. There's people doing stuff. We'll see what's happening. But in the meantime, folks, thank you all very much for watching. Take care, and I will see you all of a sudden.